gonna be completely honest. Before I started recording this video, when I woke up this morning, I did cry. I cried last night. I cried the day before that, and I cried the day before that. It's been a rough couple of days, couple of weeks, honestly. So I am the kind of person that likes to figure things out on their own. Sometimes when you are so deep in your own issues, you literally have to be the one to pull yourself out. Like, there's literally nobody else that could help you in that way, you know? So that's just my mindset. I'm trying to change it, but yeah. That's my default, I should say. And I minimize my emotions and my experiences because they're not as bad as they could be. And because I've gotten through this by myself before, and I'll do it again. And so it's not a big deal. This is just something that happens every now and then. This is nothing. And part of the reason why I don't share it with other people is most likely because I don't want to actualize it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to make it real. I don't want to make it something that has to be worked through. I don't want to put it out there for everybody to come back to later and say, did you figure that thing out? Are you okay? How are you feeling now? You know, I don't want to keep being reminded of this thing or this hardship that I'm going through. And it's very easy to do that. It's very, very easy to do that, especially with things that are considered minor things, right? I feel like I am the kind of person that my cup is always half or like 3/4 full. So like little things that fill somebody else's cup, and it doesn't make it spill over because they wake up with an empty cup or a half full cup or a 1/3 full cup. For me, it's getting full already. It's already at the brim now, and one more thing will make it spill over. And I have come to the conclusion that not everybody's going to understand that, and that's okay. I'm not expecting everybody to understand that, because in my mind, they don't even have to deal with it. It's my issue. It's my life. It's my cup. Like, whatever. It's my spill. At the end of the day, when you're going through something, like, and you're literally like, sometimes for me, depending on what it is, but after a long time of pushing things down, once they start rising to the top and spilling over, I don't have the mental capacity to sit there and explain to somebody why I'm going through what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, how they can help, and all of this, because they're not going to know, right? They're not going to know unless I say, but I don't have the capacity to say. So I often find myself getting frustrated with people and blaming them for my added frustration. And realistically, I know that people are not mind readers, and I know that they're not going to be able to understand or know what's going on unless I say something. I've noticed a cycle in myself of little inconveniences or little things bothering me, triggering me, for lack of a better word, to the point that I become emotionally exhausted. I get overwhelmed at the thought of just even having to try to figure it out, and I just would rather not drag other people into that. And then, like I said, it turns into me shutting down, and then it turns into, now I feel bad because I kind of go into this like automatic robot mode where I just do the bare minimum of what I need to do to get by, but out of the shutdown or whatever turns into the crying again, just the never ending feeling of like, what am I doing? Who am I? Like, what is this? Like, will I ever get out of this? And it's just like, it feels like doom. It does. It really feels like doom. It feels like I'm doomed to go through this cycle over and over and over. And I have been to therapy in different stages of my life, and it helps with surface things. So that way I'm able to kind of like work a little bit more on the like deeper things, but I feel like I always end up glossing over the real issue, you know? But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about vulnerability. I didn't really talk about every single stage of the cycle because, like, even I kind of don't understand it myself. Like, I feel like there's still things that I'm trying to work out with that and figure out exactly what happens when and what triggers what and how it leads into the next stage or whatever, because I'm still, living it. So it's kind of hard. But I say all that to say, and I talk about the cycle to say that I've noticed that after my grandfather passed away, these feelings and these emotions and this cycle changed. I used to kind of be able to like work it out to some degree. Like I feel like I would be able to sit with myself sometimes and like figure out the root of stuff, and and like just be like, okay, this is where this is coming from, this is where that was coming from. And honestly, I got to a pretty decent point in my life where I was able to figure out a way to get what I needed and the support that I needed without telling them why. But I feel like after my grandfather passed away, I just became a mess. Like it became extremely hard for me to connect to people because I felt like nobody understood how I felt. They didn't understand how important that relationship was to me. They didn't understand like how hard it was to come home every day and he just not be here. And I know that everybody has lost somebody and they probably could relate to certain things that I was going through, but I chose to close myself off from everybody in that time because the initial reactions, and or should I say surface level reactions that I saw from everybody, just seemed to be like they were coping better than I was, or that sometimes it even felt like they didn't care as much as I did. And I still don't really understand like everybody's way of grieving. I don't think anybody could understand each other's way of grieving, but I just was like, I cannot relate. I don't feel like me talking about this with anybody will do me any good. And honestly, I've never ever experienced this much grief in my life. So I was just kind of apprehensive. I just felt like I knew what the reactions would be, and I wasn't ready to hear all of that. I didn't feel like I had the capacity to hear anything other than what I wanted to hear. And that turned into me just kind of like not dealing with it, of course, because I'm not the kind of person that is able to be like, these are the good times we had, and this is the and look at pictures and videos and stuff and feel better. Like if I'm crying or if I'm sad and I'm missing somebody, looking at pictures and thinking about the times we had does not help me. I feel like that's something that everybody says. Everybody's like, oh, when I get sad, I just look at pictures. I remember this. I do this. I do that. And I'm like, that does not work for me. So then I feel like automatically I'm thinking in my head, so then me and you would not be able to relate to each other because you seem like you got it figured out and I don't. Time went by and I started going out. I started, doing the things that you do or whatever, like normal things or back to regular life things. I thought to myself like, okay, well, the time passed. The time that was supposed to pass has passed, so I should be over this now, right? I should be done. This is done. I don't feel this anymore. I won't feel this again. But that is not true. And that is not how it works. And I'm still learning that. I still have this feeling that like I should be over this. Like why am I still so torn up about this? Like I should be over this. But I honestly don't think it's something that I will ever be over. Right now, I feel like it is one of my main triggers for the rest of everything else that I was dealing with before he passed away. Every time I think about him, every time I miss him, I get this feeling, like this inconsolable sadness. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And people would ask me if I was okay, and I'd say yeah, or I'd say no. And they'd ask me if I wanted a hug, and I'd say yeah, or I'd say no. I never said more than yeah or no, or I might like say a little something, but I never told anybody. I never opened up to anybody about anything for real, because if it still feels like something that I could only go through by myself, or fix with myself, or just learn how to deal with in my life on my own. But the reason I am making this video today is because I have been trying to talk more about things that bother me, and it has been really, really, really hard. I know that I say that things are hard all the time with everything that I talk about on here, but this has got to be one of the hardest things that I have ever done in my life, and I'm not even exaggerating. Last night, I spoke with my mother and my grandmother, and I kind of just told them everything, how I've been feeling, how I still feel, how I've been trying to cope on my own, and it's not really, it's to a point where I'm not able to. I feel icky because I don't do those things, and I feel kind of like I regret it a little bit, but that's just because I'm not used to this feeling, and I have to keep telling myself that it's okay. I did start thinking a little bit about where does that come from, and I know that it comes from a lack of trust. I have trust issues, and I just feel like whenever I'm vulnerable or open up about things, the people have the opportunity to use it against me, or they may see me as weak or a burden, or just get tired of me, because this is something that is never ending for me. I deal with it every single day, at different levels, but every single day. So realistically, somebody's going to be like, Sanai, what the fuck? Why are you always going through something? And they're gonna get tired of me. And I still feel that way, and I'm trying to work through it. Okay, but I think I just always feel like, what is wrong with me? So opening up to other people and telling them stuff, even if they're asking me, I just feel like they're gonna definitely feel the same way. And I kind of just want to keep certain things to myself, in hopes that it'll just get better and I won't ever have to admit that I need help. So that is what I have been crying about for a month, and that is what I was crying about last night and this morning. But like, seriously though, I literally spiral so hard after I open up about something to people. Like I said, even if they're asking me, even if it's my family, they're holding my hands and they're like, Sanai, please. And I tell them afterwards, I'm like it just don't feel good. And it's such an odd thing to me, because I was raised in an environment where I was able to give my opinions, share how I felt about things open and honestly. I can always give my opinion on like surface level things, I guess, and open up about my feelings on those things. But for some reason, it is really physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausting to open up about my own hardships or whatever, right? And it's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know, because it's no problem for me talking like this, but talking to actual people, like face to face, is really hard. And oh, so that reminds me, actually, my social anxiety recently has been so bad. Like, I used to have social anxiety really, 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 really bad when I was younger, and then, you know, it started getting better, and then it got better, and then it kind of it disappeared. Literally. And now it's coming back. And now, like, when I think about things I used to do when I didn't have social anxiety, or when it was like really manageable, I cringe and I shiver. I'm like, oh, you know, like, how was I doing that? And it's crazy how I have literally like regressed in some of my progress with my social anxiety, because I don't know what is going on. But yes, 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 no, I couldn't help myself. But anyway, I am working on being more vulnerable. I'm working on trusting myself more and my judgment, trusting the people who I trust. Like, I do trust them, but, like, you know, it's complicated. But yeah, like, trusting the people who I trust for real. And I guess just being unapologetic with my emotions, and obviously not in a irresponsible way, but just taking up space and being okay with that. I did debate, and I did consider not recording this, and I'm still kind of considering not editing or posting, but I don't know. I think this might be okay. I think that this might be good for somebody. So once again, no real conclusion other than I'm trying my best, and this is where we are, and that's why it's a diary entry, baby, because I'm just talking. I'm just letting y'all know what's going on. As usual, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for rocking with me while I went through the motions. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. You're looking in the mirror. You're, like, seriously, have those conversations. Think about those things. Write it down. Do what you need to do. Reach out to a friend. Talk to your mom. Talk to whoever. Talk to the camera if you need to. But really prioritize your health, your mental health, your emotions, please. Check your labels. Drink your water. Go outside. Take a deep breath. You know, go for a walk. Do something. You need to do something. Get a hobby. Get back into your hobbies. Yeah. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.